What's up? It's your boy Corey B. So today is what I like to call a cleanup day. So when you run a reselling business or a reselling business such as mine, I like to sell a wide variety of things. I don't really like to limit myself too much, and I get myself my products, my inventory, my merchandise from a variety of places. And a lot of times I get things from auctions. Now, when I get things from auctions, sometimes I'll buy lots or sets or bins, things like that. And when I do, there are things that will come in there that'll be ready to go. I mean, it'll be great because I'll pull them out of the box and it'll be something that I can easily picture. I can maybe wipe down, polish up just a little or something like that. Then I can get them pictured, I can get them listed, and I can just wait for the money to roll in, and then I can get it shipped out and move on to the next thing. Now, sometimes you'll get things in these lots that, is just scrap. You can't do anything with it. It's really not worth anything. You got to let it go. And that's fine. But you'll also occasionally get these things that have value, but they just need to be cleaned up a little more. Some you can sell as is, but if they could be sold as is, I would have already listed them. But sometimes they just need a little bit of cleanup or maybe a little minor repair or something like that. And because I've got so much going on, I've got my consulting and coaching business. I've got other things that I've got to list and sell. I've got to do I've got my blogs that I do, and I post my videos as well. So I've got so many things going on, plus time with my boys and time with the family. These things are all important. And because those things are all important and my time is valuable, I tend to take these things that I still see value in because I don't want to pass up that value, but I just can't focus the time and energy on it now. So I'll kind of put them aside, and I normally have a place like in my storage where I'm like, okay, so I'm putting this over here and I'll deal with it later. And then I kind of plan for a day. Today is that day. So I pull out a lot of stuff. I got a whole plethora of stuff over here that I'm dealing with today. And so what I do with all this stuff is like I said, I'll clean it up, I'll polish it. If it needs repair or anything like that, I'll handle that, and then I will get it ready to list. Now, in dealing with all this today, it kind of got me thinking. So I've had this question that's been asked to me so many times over the years, and the question is, where do I get my merchandise from, and what kind of things do I get? And like I said, I don't really like to limit myself. I kind of sell just about anything. I'm going to give credit to my uncle. Years ago, and I'm going to give him credit for this phrase that he told me years ago back in the late 90s, he started an eBay business. And it was kind of fluke that it happened for him. But you know what? That's a post for another day. I'll explain that later. But for right now, just the key is he got into his business. And when he got into his business, about 2001, he started talking more to me. At that point, his business was thriving, it was successful, and it was his only means of income, and he was supporting his family. And so he began talking to me and was like, hey, you know what, Corey, I think this is something you should really consider, something you should think about. And I was like, well, how do I really know what's going to sell and what I should sell and what I'm going to focus on and things like that? And we got to talking, and the phrase that I think was perfect that he said was, I'll sell paper towels if the price is right. And it sounds silly, but somebody's selling paper towels. Now, I'm not selling paper towels, and he didn't sell paper towels, but there wasn't nothing that he wouldn't sell if the price was right. And that's where I've gotten to. I've gotten to that level where there's nothing that I won't sell if I can find the right market or the right price for it. I've learned a lot, and there's a lot of different things that there's different ways to market, different places to sell things, different places to list things. That's why I run 3 different stores. I run actually I'm running a 4th now, come to think of it. I've got a store that is for vintage items. Vintage is anything before the year 2000, which is crazy to say. Anything before the year 2000 is vintage. Gives you a new perspective on yourself or your age, huh? So, anyways, anything before the year 2000 is technically considered vintage, and you can list it in a vintage store. Okay, then I got another store where I strictly sell apparel. I sell clothing, accessories, belts, purses, things like that, and I can find I find some great auctions and things here in Austin where I can get designer purses and handbags and things like that. It's really great. And occasionally I'll find like a lot of different clothing, or I'll find different places that I can find nice clothes for really cheap. If you're interested in any details, you can feel free to hit me up. Be sure to leave your comments below, and if you got any questions, I will elaborate. Like I said, this is kind of a lot to talk about, so I'm kind of just trying to broadly, generally talk over it right now. And if you have any specifics, I'll definitely get into it. Now, there was a girl who's incredible. She's really great. She's extremely knowledgeable. She sells on Poshmark. Her handle is the Empty Hanger, and she's got a YouTube channel where she teaches you little tips and things. She takes you on her shopping excursions with her and things like that. Shows you little tips of how she does what she does. And she's also been a keynote speaker at Poshmark conventions, if I'm not mistaken, multiple times. I will leave the link below in my comments, so if you are interested in selling apparel and interested in getting into Poshmark, she's the girl to follow. I'll leave her link below, and y'all go ahead and check her out. But she taught me one incredible piece of advice, and that was to get a steam cleaner, because when you buy apparel, you want to clean it. You want it to look nice. You want it to press it. You want to make sure that when it gets to people, your customers, that it is a quality representation of you and your business. A steam cleaner actually helps with that a lot, because it takes out the time that a washing machine and dryer are going to take, and it also it smooths out any wrinkles, and it actually kills far more bacteria than a washing machine does. So that's cool. You're actually giving your customer better quality, and you're doing it in less time. Works for you, works for them. It's actually an ingenious idea, and I'm grateful that I learned that from her. And and I'm also a firm believer in passing on some credit when it's due. In addition to that, I'm in Austin, Texas, and in Austin, Texas is the music capital, and it's really an awesome place for me to acquire musical gear, musical equipment. I have a store that I just sell musical gear, equipment, merchandise, anything like that. And the thing is you got to be somewhat knowledgeable. You got to learn a little bit. You got to do some research. You got to know what you're bidding on, and when you go to these auctions, because it being the music capital, there is competition there. So people are going to be trying to outbid you and things like that, and you got to know when it's time to walk away and what's a reasonable investment for something. Some of that just comes with experience, and some of that, like I said, we all we're running our business. We've got a smartphone in our pocket. Google, search, look it up, figure out where the best place to sell it, where the best place to market is. Find out specs on things. Find out what you should be looking for. What certain items you should avoid. Like I said, over time, some of this stuff is going to become more second nature, just as this is something you begin to practice more. As you begin to implement these skills in your business, and you begin to do more research, these things are going to become, they're going to become easier for you, because you're already going to have some background knowledge for what you're doing. With that being said, you've got to kind of figure out your niche, what you're selling. Like I said, for me, I don't limit myself. I'm willing to sell just about anything. But based on what you're willing to sell, you also have to have that available to you. Like I said, in Austin, musical gear is available to me. There was a guy that my uncle found years ago, and we were absolutely fascinated and perplexed by this guy. He was in like Arizona or something like that, and he was literally selling tumbleweeds on eBay. What would someone sell tumbleweed for? He was selling tumbleweeds because for someone who is trying to set up an office or a little den or something, and they want some kind of rustic chic something or other. They want a tumbleweed, and they're in a big city where there are not tumbleweeds. So they would buy tumbleweeds from this dude, and he was selling tumbleweeds. It was the craziest thing. He literally found them, in where he lived. So ultimately, don't hinder yourself, don't limit yourself, but be reasonable about what you can sell. Based on where you are, there's a girl I know that she's really great. She's the wife of a friend of mine, and she lives out in Vegas, and she finds all kinds of designer clothes at secondhand stores and stuff. She finds them incredibly cheap, and she sells on Posh, she sells on eBay, and she's really good at what she does. And she makes a living strictly off apparel, but she finds such great stuff because of where she lives. It's just prevalent. It's just fruitful there, and that's what you gotta figure out. So wherever you are, you gotta find what's there, what's available to you, and dig a little deeper to understand brands, things that are marketable, things that maybe not so marketable. So there's certain name brands that are they just don't sell as well secondhand than they do firsthand, and that's fine. You just got to know that before you get in over your head. So, like I said, ultimately, I'm willing to sell anything, but you got to do what's reasonable for you. I would say don't limit yourself, but also be smart about your investments. Do some research, figure it out, find what's going to work for you. If you got any questions, I'm your boy Corey B. Hit me up. Put your questions below. Message me. DM me. It doesn't matter. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up in my email. Hit me up here. Y'all can find me on Facebook. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know how to find me. So, y'all stay connected. As always, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, get your notifications, and stay tuned for more, because I got more stuff coming at you. Till next time, y'all get cocky. Peace out.